Welcome back to Ask the Attorney. We are here today with Kevin Kennedy of the Kennedy Law Firm. It is absolute pleasure having you here tonight.
Well, it's fun. We love sharing. So you've had several during the break.
Yes, that's right. We want to make sure we want to get to this caller.
Yes.
You've been hanging on for a while. I think we got disconnected. So we have Esther on line 1. What's your question for us tonight?
Hi, this is Esther. I appreciate you listening to me.
Yes, ma'am.
I am 78 years old, and I have just been medically induced to a seizure. And I was wondering, it's been 3.5 months since it happened, and I was wondering what my rights are about to sue for suffering, medical, hospital, and ambulance.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, in the state of Tennessee, you have a 1-year statute of limitations. When something's gone awry and you feel like that the medical providers have been negligent, then the first thing you would do is ask to get your medical records, get copies of your medical records. We hear this all the time. Well, Kevin, there's certain things they didn't give us. Well, and that happens quite often. Get your medical records, call one of the lawyers that do the injury for malpractice as soon as possible. They'll let their lawyers and their doctors that they work with analyze the records, and then they can tell you from that if they deviated from the standard of care in that medical community. If they did, then they'll get an affidavit from those medical professionals and make a claim. If it's not settled within the year, you file the lawsuit within 1 year. And we had one today that he called and said they had been led on to believe they were going to settle, and the insurance company led them past the 1-year statute of limitation. You're forever barred.
All right, great question, and thank you for your patience tonight. We're sorry we lost you earlier, but we got you on. All right, let's go ahead and get to, do we have Jack on the line? Is that right? Hi, Jack. Can you hear us? Hello? I think we may have lost Jack, so
okay.
Let's go ahead. We're going to move on then to, I think, Monique. Hi, Monique. What's your question tonight?
Hi.
Hi.
The last time I watched you guys, a caller called in, and then it sparked my question. The question that the caller asked was, or statement, they were in a car wreck, and there was a person in their car
Yes.
that was injured, and the person that hit them didn't have insurance.
Yes.
And so you take your insurance and pay for whatever for your passenger.
You're on it.
I remember that.
Yeah, so the truth of the matter is this. If you're the owner of the car, you're responsible. If you're driving someone else's car, you better make sure that they say, well, we've got insurance. You drive my car? Well, that's Kevin Kenney's car. I'm sure it's covered, and she has and then they say, well, mine was canceled. You said, how did that happen? So if you own the car, you're responsible. If you drive the car, you're responsible. If there's guest passengers and the people that run in the back end of us have no insurance, those guest passengers are going to come after your insurance and say that you are responsible. So here's the word to everyone. Get your auto insurance. Keep it up. Don't let there be a lapse, because that could be the biggest misunderstanding of your life. And so I tell people, ask the insurance companies, what are my policy limits? Because if they're very minimum and you run into a Mercedes and you only have $25,000, that Mercedes costs $125,000, the insurance company will pay the $25,000 and say you're on the hook for the rest.
Yeah.
And so that's what we see happen all the time too.
We appreciate you bringing that back up,
It's
Monique,
good,
and
though.
thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. What some recall on some of these callers. That's excellent.
Wonderful. Okay, I think we have Gary now. Hi, Gary. What's your question tonight?
I need to ask Kevin. I used to work for this company for over 30 years.
Yep.
And they moved to Mexico. Before they moved to Mexico, they put our retirement in what they call the grandfather's files.
Okay, I'm listening to you.
I just want to know if that was legal, because if they hadn't have done that, I've been making about 3/4 more than what I've been making right now.
Yes. You know, all these pension funds, it's good to ask questions. So if you put 30 years, and so many of these, they have the decisions are in their power. So it's a good thing to go into human resource and say, can we talk about our retirement? How much do I have? What is it invested in? Is it guaranteed? And some of the great guarantee retirement policies have all been done away with now. And so it's a move for corporate America in their profit zone to do away with those things. And so learning, asking the questions, I think these are, you know, people say that's common sense. Can they do it? it's probably in that small fine print they've given themselves the right to direct the funds to either be in the stock market or not. And you know, some of these days I'm even scared to be in the stock market because you could lose a bunch of money. And some of my rich friends, I talk to them, I say, are you in? And you know, I'm real scared when a stockbroker, he says, Kevin, I'm out. I'd say, okay, I'm watching you. But they probably have the right to do that, but check on it.
Okay, all right.
But it's been past year.
We have Bobby here. Hi, Bobby. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How you doing?
Great, Bobby. What's your question tonight?
I was wondering if you had injuries on something, on a case. I had actually got assaulted, and I was trying to see if you know, I never did file a lawsuit on the case, but I did get assaulted, and I had some injuries, and I'm trying to figure out. I mean, do I file a lawsuit, and it's lapsed a year, but I'm wondering, am I allowed to file a lawsuit and file for them damages?
Okay. If the year is gone by and it's a personal injury in Tennessee, you're probably barred. If you're injured and a case is still pending, that guy has not resolved his criminal charges, you go to talk to the district attorney and say, I want X amount of dollars for restitution for my medical bills. And many times the attorney general will say, I'm going to cut a deal with you. I'll give you a probated sentence, but you're going to have to pay restitution back to your victim as part of this agreement. So many times the state can be a lot of benefit to you when you're confronted with that.
All right, great question. We have Alexis on line 7. Hi, Alexis. What's your question for us tonight?
Hey, actually I'm going to ask a question for a family member.
All right.
So he has a daughter with his now ex-girlfriend, but now they split the custody. Kind of, you know, she gets him, gets her, I think, like Thursday through Sunday or something like that. They have something like that worked out. But now he is thinking about getting sole custody because when, you know, the mother says that she has the child, she really doesn't. You know, she drops her off at the grandparents' house and stuff, and he feels like, well, if I could still have her and spend time with her if you're not going to. So
Touché.
Doesn't think that he has a case.
Okay. We hear this all the
Great
time.
question.
Thank you for the question. The truth is, you know, we don't even know all the facts. Do they have a parenting plan? Does it lay it out? One gets Thursday through Friday. Let me explain this. In Tennessee, everybody, if it's a child born out of wedlock, then we need a paternity action to establish I'm the daddy and you're the mother. This is our time. This is your time. A parenting plan, a judge signs that. If we were married, then we would need a custody agreement. Basically, the final decree would say that you have the child. But now, in this situation, okay, you've represented, you're going to spend all the time with the child. Well, you're gone all the time. You're never there. Well, that's not fair to me and the child. You're leaving it at your mother's. So that gives me grounds, and I would say that's a change of circumstances. Excellent question. And we would file a petition, and then you say, if you want to run off, run off. Just leave the child over here with us.
All right, wonderful. Well, again, you are joining us tonight for Ask the Attorney. This is Kevin Kennedy of the Kevin Kennedy Law Firm.
Yeah.
And we've had some great questions tonight. We have about a minute before our next break. So I want to go ahead and ask you, real quick, kind of what's on the horizon for you right now, the law firm things.
Yeah.
Overall, Kevin.
Well, the law firm, it never ceases to amaze me with the seasons. We're in the summer season, and so people are going out, and so what we see a lot of at the law firm, so many criminal charges, people get fired up. In the winter, everybody kind of stays out of the clubs and they don't get in as much trouble. Of course, we're right there at Fort Campbell, and so there's lots of military that we're constantly representing. We do lots of divorces, custody. This custody issue, what do you work for? What do you spend all your life to try to raise those children the best you can? And no one can raise them better than you or yourself, because you can spend the time and there's a love bond there. So I take all that very seriously, and we see lots and lots of that.
And real quick, if folks didn't call in tonight, where can they reach you all at?
Call us at the office all the time, 931-645-9900. And we love to talk. We have free initial consultation. You can come in. A little advice goes a long ways. Give you some peace of mind, give you some direction. And so many times I hear people say, well, Kevin Kennedy said this, then quote me. If I said it, then quote me. I'm not ashamed of that. I always try to tell you the best that I can, stand on the truth the best that we can, and then move forward. I still believe the person with the proactive approach will always come out on top.
Well said. All right, we're going to take one more quick break, but keep it right here. We'll be right back.
See you.